The YouTube channel Revealing Light, Tarot, Astrology, and Spirituality is something that I had seen some time ago, and I had decided to review this channel again, and it seems like she has gone upscale. This is understandable. By accident, my drawing of the hostess, she appears to be female, turned out to be kind of equivalent to a Bill Gates likeness, and I thought it would be interesting to go with that. I had read Gates's book, The Road Ahead, many years ago, and he indicated that he was a card game player. This was the conventional 52 card deck, not the tarot deck. Just as one might say that yes, there are card games that can be played with tarot decks, this kind of thing is not popular outside of mainland Europe. In turn, we could say that ordinary playing card decks can be used for cartomancy or fortune telling, shall we say. Just because something is possible does not mean that a person like Gates would have gone there. He had an interest in psychology, and he had some kind of obscure incident of mental instability where he was driving through intersections in a vehicle where stop signs were clearly visible, and he did not stop. He was caught and criminally charged. So what is the deal with these tarot cards? This is some kind of small cult or what? It is a set of replicating ideas, a meme, or a set of memes. Some of these memes have separated themselves from the main tarot deck, or they existed before the tarot deck was created. The trumps of the tarot 6 and 13 are more widely known by the general public than the tarot cards themselves. These things may have been sucked into the tarot deck centuries ago from general culture. The numbering, ordering, and meaning of the tarot cards has changed over time, although not much change has occurred since the publication of the Rider-Waite Tarot a century ago. In that case, the number of the tarot trumps, strength, and justice were switched over, which most modern decks copy. The awful idea that a cult or a body of information has a lock on the future is something that can live in people's minds and in consequence perhaps distort people's perceptions. The tarot is a piece of culture. Its art, numbering, written and oral lore has positioned it to be a fortune-telling system in some people's minds. Some people just appreciate the tarot as art only. What do people believe? These kinds of things can in some cases create self-fulfilling prophecies. If people believe the world is going to burn soon, will they take definite steps to stop global warming? No. In the drawing for the channel card, there were some kind of difficult steps. Eventually, with the perception of Gates's face, there was a glimmer of hope that the simple placing of words, crude boxes, arrows, etc. would be sufficient for much of the drawing. This is a violation of some of the foundational ideas of Western art, where words are forbidden because supposedly there is going to be enough space for a sufficiently skilled artist to express themselves. In this case, we have two bandits making demands of the psychologist or fortune teller or crowdfunder or what have you. Their demand is supposedly simple. What is the deal with Trump? From the point of view of Trump, the tarot could have more meaning than what is ordinarily might have for the average person. Would Trump even know that there is a Trump series in the tarot deck? Does he even know About the tarot cards, I would think so, yes. It has been said that Trump does not read books. However, a person does not need to read to absorb some kind of knowledge about the folklore, superstitions, and meme structures of this culture. There are movies and TV shows that have used some over references to these things. Trump's birthday is almost perfectly positioned on the two most widely known tarot cards. Their numbers, the lovers. Number 6, and death. Number 13. You might think to yourself that these kinds of things could not possibly be trenchant when considering Trump. However, try to look at these things from the egotistical point of view of a Trump. He may have got caught up in the lore of the tarot because it seemed to call out to him. What are we seeing with this tarot stuff? Yes, it is an extortive situation with attempts being made to tell Americans that foreigners will be paying these tariffs, with the actual truth of American consumers paying most of the tarot costs being hidden. From whom? This is brainwashing. Yes, it sounds simplistic and sick to compare the words tarot and tariff. However, why wouldn't we do this? Some kind of sense is imposed on nonsense. All of this tariff nonsense would not have happened without Trump, and some kind of explanation or cover is necessary. The idea that Americans are being ripped off because there was a relatively open system of trade. Such kinds of questions could be so deranged they may not be worthy of response, or shall we say that the explanations would be eating up time and space. Suffice to say, it seems imperialistic for a nation state to put into place a system of heavy-duty one-way tariffs. What is the deal here? Is America somehow special? It may have the military hardware for the imposition of such a system. This system is being created because the outside world may unfortunately still want to sell in American markets. So, what is the deal with the two bandits? Let's bear in mind that this kind of stuff is a fictional world which can be tolerated briefly to broaden your horizons about various subcultures, and in this case of tarot, to presumably discredit it. The bandits are seeing a host which looks vaguely like the American Bill Gates, and they want to go along with this in order to illustrate the bankruptcy and decadence of Americans. Who could think that such a thing would be possible? Bill Gates would disguise himself as a woman and start a YouTube channel where tarot cards are a centerpiece for understanding the present and the future and the past. Gates is already in touch with likely futures where the effects of global warming are understood. What would tarot cards have to do with this? You know what scammers are. And in this case of the two bandits, they are depicted as Fox News. A fox with the Channel 54 logo. And Vladimir Putin. Whatever you may think about false realities and their purposes, these entities, Fox and the KGB or FSB, are notorious in some circles for their efforts to create false realities that are so convincing that some people mistake them for reality. Consequently, you should understand suspension of disbelief when these creatures are depicted. unfortunate terminology is used, and there is a reason why. How many people have been poisoned mentally or physically by these people? There is still a debate, I suppose, about their status. In the case of the two bandits, some unfortunate wreckage is made out of the channel drawing, with more definite ideas about its meaning becoming necessary because of various reasons. Ordinarily, it would be preferable to keep the meaning of the drawing kind of ambiguous. The bandits could be putting on some kind of act of being concerned about humanity and peace on Earth and all of this. You may have heard of the Russian word mir, which can mean either peace or world, depending on how it is used. The two bandits have found or conjured into being a type of interface that would hopefully shed some light on what is going on with the USA. The output from this interface turns out to be very bad. Who would be surprised by this? The bandits are getting what they want, and they are supposedly protected from dangerous superstitions and other barbarities. For example, astrology is terribly off base. Literally, with the Babylonian system that is used in the European-derived world, there has been a desynchronization over time, with the zodiac signs no longer being fully in sync with the actual constellation and where the sun is and all of that. The progression of the equinoxes was not known by the devisers of the Babylonian astrological system. What does this matter, though? Isn't astrology just a game of what people believe and a few numbers? The DOB, date of birth. What can these numbers telegraph to a person? What does this person and their own subculture believe? The hostess of the Revealing Light Tarot channel is using astrology as a prop. It is not such a bad thing, though. Only the most obscure thinkers can make connections about the positions and closeness of various planets and suns having influence upon each other. Individual on one of these planets, how could they be influenced by these positions? You know the truth. It is just in their own minds.